as a faction. It's going to be fun. It's going to be controversial because I have opinions. So let's get started right at the beginning. The Drowned, Silostra Deerfin. It's not fun. She was never a particularly fun faction to begin with. I wish the theming, I like the idea behind her. I don't like the fact that there's not more undead Bretonnians for her to use. Instead, she's slotted in with the Vampire Coast faction. So she plays like a vampire faction, which isn't great. So, as they say. That is Argalon? Yes, that's Argalon. Durthu. Durthu is probably one of the better Wood Elf factions. Easily can doomstack the Tree Man, and just he is lethal in and of himself. Overall, Wood Elves aren't in the best place, but Argalon and maybe the sisters are the best out of them all. Avalorn. Fuboy. What Wood Elf or High Elves. High Elves. Without mods, the High Elves are most, I would say, are still in a beat. They're a really strong faction. The starts become a little more interesting than it was before, but Alarielle is still a really powerful lord. She does buff the sisters, so she's still one of the better. She's kind of on tier. On her equivalent would be like Kataryn with the Ice Guard. Azog. I'm gonna have to. Overall, not my favorite, personally. He's just not the first orc I'm gonna go for. That would probably be Warzogs. Albric. Oh god, I want to like Albric's campaign. I like the idea that he's now gone on some crusade. That said, this is just a gigantic pain in the ass. I'm not a huge fan of Bretonnian and how Bretonnia plays anyway. But this is more just like my personal ranking anyway. That is what? Grom? I think? Just look real quick. I think that's Grom. Grommy boy. Grom. Groom. Yeah, alright. Grom. Still in a really strong place. Good lord in Warhammer 2. Still is in Immortal Empires. Still, it's that food mechanic. That food mechanic just makes Goblos so much fun to play with. It's great. It's just great. Caravan of the Blue Rose. Gorst. Now that he no longer has the unlimited, nearly infinite healing pool, he's not nearly as interesting. However, overall, he's still a vampire. He's not that good, though. He's kind of a one-trick pony. Zombies are only good for so long. Alright. Carcassonne is alright. The Fey Enchantress is the Fey Enchantress. I mean, it's a little more fun to play in the old world, so she's got that over Albric, I suppose. Rapunzel. I like Rapunzel's campaign. It does feel a little bit more refined than Alberic's new one. Maybe he's just a bit of an overhaul to what he's actually good against fighting. Maybe, yeah, give it maybe that. But Rapunzel's fun once or twice. You can go around stabbing undead people in the face. Which, hey, if that... No, you know what? Anyone who stabs undead people in the face goes down to C. Clan Engrand. I actually have not touched them, but I've read up on them. But overall, dwarves are not. Dwarves aren't a great place. But yeah, like I said, I haven't played them. I haven't gotten really involved in the race for 8 Peaks too much. Rictus. Alright, well, here we go. Icket. Icket Claw is still an S rank faction. And Icket as a faction, amazing. Ben Scryer. Perfect. Perfection. So much fun. So much fun. Skaven nukes, yep. The nukes will always win. Rictus. Rictus is just still Rictus. It's a Skaven faction. Technically, they've got access to all the Skaven stuff that you would expect other than nukes and the shadow contracts, so... They just need something. Anything unique. That would be nice one day. Khalida. Where would I put you? Oh, God. This gets into the Tomb King's problem. Which, for those who aren't aware, all of the Tomb Kings came out in a DLC. So you run into that ethical problem of, can you do a DLC for DLC? Or do you have to do free DLC? It makes this a very interesting problem. Which probably would explain why they haven't really gotten any new units. The rosters more or less stayed the same. That said, like, why would you ever play Khalida? There's no real reason to play because Khemri exist. Why would you not play Cetra? Yeah, fair point, actually, if you're really into snakes. Okay, so here, we'll do Khemri. We'll take care of the Tomb Kings really quickly. Khemri is still playable. Cetra's fun. Cetra is still a really fun campaign. He's decently powerful. You can have some fun with some chariot spam. He's up there with Grom. He's kind of a bit of a one-trick pony. You get yourself up to constructs. You just start building armies of constructs. It's not a bad little campaign. I want to do 200 or 300 turns on him, but it's fun nonetheless. The same cannot be said for the Exiles of Nehek. Why would you ever play them? You gotta do something. They need something else. Anything else. That said, I mean, maybe Exiles, you'd have to make your own fun. If you did something like exile yourself to Cathay and just completely ignore the Nagaron scrum. Alright, Arkan the Black. Arkan's probably, personally, it's a toss-up. If I feel like playing Tomb Kings, Probably Cetra, but more off. Or probably Cetra, but Arkan's not a bad option. It's got a bit of a hybrid roster, strong caster. It's a bit thematic, you know. He's basically evil Cetra. These two mirror each other, so why not? Yeah, he does need some higher tier vampire units. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Why does he not have? Just give him the full roster. Like, put it behind an unlock. That's the thing, right? Like, force him. Here's what I do. If you wanted to make Arkan really fun, Arkan has to defeat Cetra entirely, conquer Khemri, occupy it, and then he gets access to some more vampire units as he kind of moves into a second stage of his campaign. That, I think, would be fair. Crooked Moon. Crooked Moon. They're night goblins. They can be fun. Arachnarok spiders are fun. If you're doing like a weird thematic thing, sure. Break them out. Why not? But let's finish off the orcs and goblins. Actually, let's just get that real quick. So. The Bloody Hands. Probably. Look, if you're gonna play orcs, yeah, I gotta go for the Bloody Hand. It's as simple as that. They're just too much fun. Same time, Grimgor. Grimgor himself, he kind of struggles. Especially because Wurzag is in the game. If Wurzag didn't exist, Grimgor might be a bit of fun. CA, please. Could we get like a few more Black Orc units? Like some more fun, and maybe let Grimgor get some weapon variant versions? That'd be cool, officially. Oh, I should clarify. All of this is official, not my heavily modded, completely fucked up campaign world that I have. Everybody having like 3 times as many units. They probably should. But overall, like, Grimgor's an okay faction. Look. For all his problems, Grimgor is Grimgor. He can kill most things. Just not always the best. All right, Marathi. I really like playing Marathi. I won't lie. I like playing Dark Elves. Marathi is a really strong lord. Her skill set is very, very good. Yeah, it's just a solid campaign all around. Good Dark Elf experience. Now, the Dark Elf slave mechanic is an entirely different story. In fact, let's talk Dark Elf for a bit. Let's talk about evil stabby elves. Starting with, we did Marathi, so let's go down then to Lokir. Okay, Lokir has a really, really strong start. I think we proved it a couple of months ago, where we just loaded right after the game launched. We loaded in after the Village campaign, I think, into Lokir. And over the course of about an hour of gameplay, we had most of Inner Cathay under Dark Elf control. Lokir can now snowball. And he's got to move very quickly. It's a very different campaign now. I do like it. It's like a speedy Dark Elf one where you got to move quick. Also, I really enjoy playing Lokir just because of the aesthetics. Like, he's just fucking cool. The Kraken Lord. He's running around with those glowing red lightsabers and a Kraken helmet. He's regenning. You can eventually put him on a dragon if you really want to. He makes Black Ark Corsairs beastly. Fun early game. Rakarth. Oh god, Rakarth. What do we do? What? You massacred my boy. You killed my boy. Rakarth will get better. So here's why. Because exactly. Yeah, like the Dark Elves have basically become a hybrid, almost hybridized. Yeah, so like I was saying, Rakarth will become better as more factions get introduced with more war beasts and just more beasts in general get added, especially if we get something like the Storm of Chaos. Rakarth could become amazing. That said, he does have access to a ridiculously strong roster, but it's kind of gimmicky right now, so we're gonna put him in a B-. But I could easily see him shooting up much higher, especially if his beast pen mechanic is expanded upon. I could see it being very fun, getting the larger, stompier monsters. He's kind of a mid-tier lord, but then again, he's a dark elf on a dragon, so by default, that's pretty powerful. All right, Malice. Malice is ridiculously powerful. Zarkin is fun. It's a little more of a take and hold type campaign where you end up fighting your way through the Chaos Waste for quite a bit, but not bad. It basically, Chaos throws itself at you and you're able to feed, become even more powerful. Harganeth. Helebron is... I'm split. I think mechanically Helebron's in an okay position. I think she has a few issues later on, but early game she can make sisters her front line and pretty much walk through most factions. Yeah, no, you know what? It's the same problem that Rakarth has. It just needs a little bit more to make it feel a little bit stronger. You know, Death Knights are there, but they're not going to make it very far. Malekith. To my mind, he's still the quintessential, hey, I'm new to the game and learning how to play Dark Elves. Strong combatant, strong faction, good effects. Or good skills, I should say. All in all, other than the slave mechanic being a little questionable at this point, Malekith, I think, is in a really good place. We did a few Skaven, so let's finish up our talks on Skaven. Eshin is stupid fun. And we all know why. It's all called that delete faction button. Bing! Oh, would you look at that? Everyone died. Good hero killers. Once again, Skaven, Ninja Rats. It's just fun. Throt. Throt. The mutation mechanic is actually rather inspired in terms of design. The risk-reward balance, it's not perfect. No, it's not perfect in any means, but for the monsters, yes, yeah. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from renaming your lords to Michelangelo, Donatello. And you can name the squads too, you know. Rats masquerading as turtles. They never see it coming. So yeah, Molder's in a good place. It has a very good mechanic, very unique mechanic for present. Mutations are fun. Is it a go-to campaign? No, because, well, it get claw exist. And between flesh monsters and magical nuclear weapons, I mean, it's just me, but take the bomb. Pestilence. I do not like playing Pestilence at all. Not as bad. Well, yeah, no, you're hurting. You're hurting. Just, I know some people adore Pestilence, Clan Pestilence, and its gameplay, but I do not like it. I have never had a fun Pestilence campaign at any point. I end up dropping them pretty quickly. I wish I could say more. I wish there was a little more of anything to them. Mechanically, they probably need a good bit more help. Let's see, does it take care of the rats? I think that takes care of all of our rats for the moment. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Moors. Same problem. You've been left behind. You're an older faction. There's just Queek is good, but just like now, I almost forgot about him. It's just something that these three need some kind of rat buff. Give them rat roids. You hear me, CA? Rat roids. That's what these guys need. Bretonia. Let's finish Bretonia. Alright. Luan Liancourt. Out of gun, if I had to play a Bretonian campaign, Luan is just hands down the best. He becomes the best duelist. He's got an amazing mount. He can do Royal Hippogriff spam. Just probably best of when it comes to Bretonia. Let's see. All right, so then Vampire Coast, we can talk about some of those. Sartosa does not feel like a Sartosan faction at all. That overhaul mod we played 2 months ago definitely proved that. Oh boy, if you are interested in this particular VOD, it is live over on my YouTube channel now. I believe it is. Let me check real quick here. But it added in a bunch of Sartosan pirates. Yes, okay. Yeah, it is. It is live over on my channel, but it definitely they need to be overhauled. Slotting them into Vampire Coast makes sense, but maybe rename Vampire Coast to, Pirates or something. A few more Buccaneers living units would definitely help Aranessa out. And Aranessa herself is not that great. Let's be honest, in terms of power, she's kind of behind on the times. I don't know why she needs the Promethean mount either. I have a lot of questions when it comes to Sartosa, especially after playing that excellent mod. Luther Harkon. He's good. Solid Lord actually feels like a vampire. Actually fits the whole Vampire Coast mechanic. You know, if you feel like playing a different, more raidy Buccaneer vampire, that's what he's there for. Dread Fleet. The Dread Fleet itself. If this was Warhammer 2, I'd have to send him up to pretty much near the top. But it's not. Single entity stacks aren't quite as powerful, and the Necrofex has kind of suffered a little bit in the kind of jump from 2 to 3 to Immortal Empires. That said, it's still a really fun campaign. You can go after Ulthuan pretty quickly and just have yourself a grand old time blowing pointy ears out of the water. They don't really go to the water now, do they? You have to go to them. But overall, Noctilus is a fairly decent lord. Nothing particularly special that makes him stand out as broken or anything like that. Which proves an excellent segue into the vampires themselves. Let's start with... you all know him, the Necromancer, the man himself and his buddy Krell. He's alright. It's kind of a weird when you think about it, but more or less, like the vampire counts of the old world, they're effectively exactly where they were before. Like, very few strategies have changed. If anything, they've gotten a handful of buffs just to make them a little bit, bring them in balance with a few more of these other factions. But overall, like, they're just really solid and they go on. The same way you played them in 2, you can basically play them in 3. Yeah, Wind to Death is a little less reliable, but the Barrow Legion, really strong. Krell is just Krell. Same thing with the Von Karsteins. Vlad is probably, this is personal bias speaking. Yeah, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Vlad and Isabella are both really, really powerful. I love playing as them. This is entirely personal bias because they're pretty much by default when I go on to play vampire counts. I love doing vampire spam. I love just doing one-man doom stacking with Vlad. They're just too much fun. Vlad is ridiculously powerful, even for a Footlord in the current state of the game. A Footlord, let that sink in, is amazing. Manny. Good old Manny Manfred himself. whatever your opinions on our boy here may be, his faction and he himself is really powerful. A bit of a different start if you are playing how the CA intends you to play, but very nice faction. It's the same old vampire counts. Once again, like, the formula is good. As the saying goes, I like the stock. Oh boy. We've got a fair few left here. So let's lizards? Actually no, let's finish off dwarves since we did Clan Angrand. There aren't that many. Grombrindle. Grombrindle, I think, has the same problem that the Tomb Kings have. He needs quite the overhaul. It is an aggravating start in Nagaron right now. It's just a frustrating campaign with his skills. He kind of have to go hyper aggressive to survive. It's just frustrating, which is unfortunately the story of the dwarves just in general right now. They are just not in the best of places, unfortunately. And Thorgrim doesn't measure up anymore. Warhammer 2, straight up here to S tier. But honestly, they fall off. Especially now that with the Champions of Chaos. At least that's my opinion. They're still fun. They still are really powerful if you can get them through their tech tree, but there's a lot of ifs going on there. Thoric. All right. Technically, I'd say Thoric is a bit better just because his lord effects, his faction effects, are a little bit better than Thorgrim's. And really even Grombrindle's. He can actually make some decent troops. That's my hope too. I'm hoping that we get a dwarf rework alongside the Chaos Dwarves. Yeah, it's a time of grudges, so time to break out those old tools. And, well, time for some rune golems, maybe some shard dragons. Some more flyers could be cool. That barge, Thunder Barge, officially brought in. Yeah, they're gonna need some more. Some more runic infantry. Did I miss a dwarf? Ah, yeah, the Slayers themselves. A lot like Thoric, Kara Kadrin, if you play it purely Slayer themed, you can get pretty far. It's kind of more of a thematic campaign, but still held back by being dwarf faction. Lackluster tech tree, but Ungrim does make Slayers a bit better, so you can have a few, but if you're gonna play them, personal advice, you're gonna need more than a few mods to make this fun that add in some more Slayer variants, do some more Slayer quests. Let's see. Let's do the rest of the Wood Elves since we talked about Argalon. Sisters of Twilight. Easily one of my favorite. They are probably one of the best designed legendary lords in terms of options, mounts, just straight up buff abilities. Sure, it's a simple strategy. You use Warhawk Riders, abuse the ever-living shit out of them. Kite for the first 50, 60, 80 turns. And then you swap over to Treeman. Simple as that. But they're still really solid. They're very powerful fighters. Having multiple mounts, different mounts, and summoning the other, good mechanic. Hard to argue with them overall. Taliesin. Orion is not feeling right at all. He does not feel like the demigod of the hunt. This godly avatar that is rampaging. And I hate that. I really do. He feels really unfocused with the entire roster. Wild Riders, great Stag Knights. I'm not happy, and this is coming from somebody who got into Warhammer, and Wood Elves were my first army. Too much, yeah, yes. He's got to wait around for too damn long to get anywhere. But that goes for all the Wood Elves, really. The whole idea of make fun is somewhat frustrating. There should be a lot more things trying to get into Athel Loren. And frankly, let's be honest. Athel Loren should feel like it's under siege. Undead, beastmen, dwarves, Bretonnians, just all kinds of shit should be unleashed against you in a Wood Elf campaign. And it's not. Okay, that brings us to some Dryka. Dryka. I want to like Dryka. I heard that supposedly they fixed the Kuladil's fight quest battle, so you can actually properly recruit him or something like that. Dryka's got a lot of flavor, but once again, you're held back by Wood Elf. But you can do a little bit more, just because you do have vulnerable Empire around you. So you can just kind of, go stab those Sigmar worshipping Talite and Ulrich losers in the asshole if you really want to. So Dryka can be a little more fun. And you get some, usually you got... Azog shows up at some point, so you can fight a few orcs and goblins. But once again, still, you're waiting around. Why are you waiting around? Let's see. Let's finish off some of these good guy factions, then. Lothern. Oh, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah. A corruption type? That could be a fun. Adding in another push-pull element. The Magic Forest. Make Magic Forest actually mean something. I like it. I like that idea. Lothern, Tyrion himself. It's a strong faction. It's a good beginner faction. Tyrion's a solid lord. He has a rich settlement. Yeah, no, there's just not a lot to say. High elves are just like middle of the pack. If they survive long enough, they become very dangerous. They still have busted things like phoenixes, or specifically arcane phoenixes. They're fairly strong. Tyrion's just a beast. Imric. Imric is a really strong lord, just no stop. On a dragon, his items are amazing. His campaign, getting the dragons is really fun. Not being an Ulthuan and still being able to play high elves is really good. Probably one of the better high elf campaigns, just period, because it is so exotic. You basically have one stack, let's be honest. It's whatever stack Imric has, and it's got all of his fancy ROR dragons. He gets a good amount of buffs, good equipment. It's just well done. Which I feel nasty saying that about a high elf faction, but I can't help it. Yeah. Eltharion. Eltharion was fun the first time. He's a good archer faction. Really plays into the whole high elf Batman. I give my troops unlimited ammunition. The Mistwalkers are a cool idea. He's just solid. I wouldn't. He's not quite as well. You know what? I'm gonna swap these two. It's a little more interesting to play an Eltharion campaign than it is to play a Tyrion. Just because Tyrion's a little more focused on defending. At least with Eltharion, you can kind of push out and do a little bit more exploration and fight a wider variety of enemies much sooner. Techless. Techless is probably the same with Eltharion. He's a solid lord. It's kind of a nuisance to have to deal with a Tzeentch so early. But, you know, you're okay. Solid lord all around. Yeah, solid lord, just decent faction. Maybe not the most interesting of campaigns in Lustria. And there's the whole Oxyotl shows up eventually and then decides to try to shank your magic wielding ass for some reason. Alethanar, what are we going to do with you? I freaking dislike almost everything about the Alethanar campaign. If he wasn't high elves and had access to high elf units, just normally I'd put him down on D. He's there. He's just there, and I don't know why he's not a horde faction. Out of all the high elves that should be a horde, should probably be this guy, and maybe Emmerich. Maybe. Alright, that's all the high elves done. Let's do Empire. Let's talk Empire, starting with Marcus Wolfheart. Poor Marcus. You have an interesting-ish campaign. You've got some fun mechanics, solid lord, makes Empire archers and huntsmen really, really good. but there's nothing really special. It's a bit different. You can cause a little bit of chaos in Lustria. It might be a little easier now that you do have Albric hanging around. And the Empire is a little more suited to actually deal with the giant fucking lizards. At least early game. Late game, Bretonia can obviously wreck the lizards pretty quickly. But we'll get to lizards in a bit. Let's see. Empire. Oh boy. Empire is just not... They are not in a good place. They are... I'm gonna have to do it. They are just not... I mean, they're playable. The problem is they haven't gotten the units that will balance them against, like, Festus and the other Warriors of Chaos, and just Chaos in general. It just makes Empire somewhat painful right now, which is unfortunate. It should be more fun. It really should. I mean, the combined arms armies are strong, but at the same time, it's past time that we got some armored variants, some more answers to chaos. Where are the Lord Magisters and Lady Magisters of the colleges? Yeah, where are the god-specific units, the buffs? That's what the Realm of Man really needs. Volkmar. Same problem. Same problem. He needs some kind of Sigmarite champion. Some sort of strong answer. That said, his campaign is really fairly easy to start off with. He just got flaming attacks, so he can easily deal with the Tomb Kings. Can burn them all away. We've got Raponce knocking around, so it's not a bad early campaign. It's not a bad early army, really. Yeah, but overall, he's not impressive. Cathay, that's right. Let's finish Gelt. Gelt is probably one of the better human lords, just because he does buff artillery. Goldcaster, basically the closest we have to a Lord Magister right now. Still a fun campaign. Good caster, strong caster. Makes this faction fun. You want to do artillery spam? Welcome to Vietnam. The Dragons. Both of them. Overall, I'd say Cathay is in a weird position. Its units are both fairly decent, but there's a few missing pieces, like a melee hero. That said, like, both of them are fun to play, so personally I'm gonna put them up in an A-, just by sheer fun factor. Cathay's got a wide enough roster right now that they're not really boring. Mao Ying, I would maybe like to see a few more I don't know, I'd like to see the threat from the north be increased a good amount. I don't know. Cathay's a bit odd. I kind of feel like Cathay is really underdeveloped right now. It's like it's missing a lot of the, like, cults and internal strife. Like, it shouldn't necessarily be the easiest thing to keep public order in Cathay, yet seemingly you can walk all over them. All right. Let's move on to I guess we gotta do Kislev. Kislev is a solid-ish campaign to start with. It's not the best. Katerin and Boris are probably better of the two, because you can stack Ice Guard with Katerin and then you do Bear Riders with Boris, and you have really strong, just a really strong army, strong faction. Like, they're in a decent place. I mean, if you've played Kislev, you know what the problems are. The problem is these are basically mono stacks. And then the Kislev mechanics though are a problem. So yeah, the most I can give them is a B. Kostaltin though, the fuck is going on with this faction? I do not like playing Kostaltin. It just confuses me why he's there. Once again, he's got the shitty Kislev voting mechanic, race that's not really a race because there's no negative. He's just strange, you know? Just really strange. All right, so let's talk about lizards. The lizards. Where do we start? Let's start with who's just solid. Mazda Mundi. Solid caster, solid roster, strong defensive settlements. Hexwaddle is just at a really good starting location. Just lizardmen just are old. There doesn't seem to be a lot of point to the geomantic web anymore. It just feels like a tired mechanic. Like, the lizardmen roster is really good. Don't get me wrong, they've gotten enough love over the years that their roster is really good. Mechanically, though, they've gotten better. The removal of Rampage, like, hats off to CA, well done. I don't need just giving me ways to mitigate or removing Rampage. Fix so many issues. Yeah, but Mazda, just solid start, good introduction, good settlement. Oxyotl. I really like playing Oxyotl for the first 50, 60 turns. It's just fun going around with the commando battalion of skinks, just sniping chaos factions for a while. It's tedious in the long term, though, when you have to start defending your settlements and running and kiting and fighting dozens of battles every turn. It's just aggravating. However, the mission system, well done, good design. Cult of Sotek. Solid idea. I like the theming of Tehenoin, but not necessarily the entire execution. Tehenoin's not my first pick, let's say. But he's still a lizard man faction, just as strong. Yeah. Talakwa. Talakwa. This is a really funny little meme campaign. If y'all want to play with Ripperdactyls and Pterodons for a while and have an Air Force and play Ride of the Valkyries loudly as you send your lizards in to bombard the enemy, go ahead. It's probably even more fun now since they got the Coatl. So now you have invisible squads of Ripperdons. Just saying. But overall, like, it's just kind of bit like the Empire, where you're just kind of like, I could play it, but I also have, once again, rats with nuclear weapons. Or rats with a delete button. Nikai the Wanderer. Alright. Nikai is, in a vacuum, really just Croxagore fun. Look, you can get giant alligators running around with power fists. It's just funny. It's a horde. Other than the money issue, like, it's just Nikai, like the geomantic web mechanic, just doesn't really have much to do. Yeah, you got the fact you have your dedications to the various old ones, but it doesn't do anything, really, at the end of the day. You get some unlocks, a few buffs, but it's kind of there. I think that's one of the lizard's bigger problems. They're just there. Gorak. I wish I could like Gorak. Yeah, starts with Croak. Really powerful, but also you basically can't really do much for a little while. And I think there may be a degree of fatigue here. Just for me personally. Lustria, I played a lot in Lustria and Warhammer 2, and a bit in 3, and I just have no reason to go back. I like Mazda, because he doesn't have Nikai's mechanics necessarily, but he does have Geomantic Web. Like, why? There needs to be some sort of, like, deciphering mechanic, I think. I think it was, what, Great Book of Grudges? Nathan over there brought up, like, some way to decipher the prophecies of the old ones. You know, go take this city, go blow up this faction, go raid over here, or dig here or something. That would make this far more interesting. Like, Lizardmen are supposed to be this weird alien faction that just shows up. Inscrutable. Unknowable. It doesn't feel like that right now. Gorak. Yeah, same. Gorak and Krokgar. Pretty much the same issue. I mean, it's a little more Beast and Saurus focused, so it's a bit stronger, I guess. A little more like army-ish, but still, like, why? You don't have a lot going on. It's just kind of standard Scaly Boy conquest. All right, so now we come to the interesting part of the evening. We've got the bad boys. Yes, the bad boys are in town. Actually, we should do the neutrals first. The ogres. The ogres, vanilla, they are just not particularly fun. The mercenary contract mechanic just does not work for me. It doesn't feel fun. And they just kind of feel like they're more there to be a roadblock than anything else. That's in spite of having really cool, dinosaur, or not dinosaurs, but creatures, Ice Age creatures in their roster. Like, Greasus and Scrag are just kind of underwhelming. Yes, in terms like campaign mechanics. You can build camps at some point, and yeah, it's kind of like a paint the map faction. Get Thunder Tusk and win. It's just kind of meh. Now we get to the bad boys of chaos, the stabby boys. Let's start with Norsko. Technically one of the more neutral ones, I suppose, manner of speaking. What? Okay, well, easy one. Throg has no identity. What is a Throg? Who knows? Have you ever seen a Throg? No, I have not seen a Throg. Have you seen a troll? Yes. Have you ever seen a Throg? Has a Throg seen a troll? I don't know. Where are the trolls? It's a simple question. Where are Throg's trolls? And the voice lines are bad. Holy fuck. Can we talk about the voice lines? The voice lines are bad for Throg. Wulfric is basically in this... No, Wulfric is okay-ish. Just, go straight mammoths. Yeah, you don't have an option. He's just like the vanilla Norskin faction. Just they are a older race pack that has been around for quite a while. Give them they need some serious love and attention to bring him up to the modern standards. He's not unplayable though. I mean, it feels kind of like a Wulfric, it kind of feels like he might perform that way. I don't know, maybe they need a little more of that Vampire Coast DNA. That vampirate. All right. Where do we start with the actual boys? Let's start with the good old Demon Prince Daniel himself. I get what they're going for with Daniel. I get it. I just wish he had some ways to get a few more buffs for his troops. That said, he does have access to the new chaos, just writ large. It's a little bit better in Immortal Empires. You're not getting quite as dogpiled. So, he's not bad. He's just not amazing. Let's do the beast. Let's take out the Beastmen then, and then we'll deal with the whole mess that is chaos and all of its sub factions. All right, Taurox. Taurox is still really, really fun. You smash, you build Minotaurs, you build Gorbals, and you roll over everything in your way. End of story. It's just pure bloodthirsty fun. And hard to argue with that. One. Then, what's this? This is Khazrak. Khazrak is not in the best of places in the world. He's just kind of boring. Taurox exist. Malagor. Yeah, He's probably the least out of the Beastmen, but the Beastmen rework definitely helped. The rest of the Beastmen, they're really fun. Like, it's kind of what flavor of Beastmen you want to play early game. Just yeah, I don't have a lot of problems actually with Beastmen. Good faction, good mechanics, thematic, yeah, good units. Just fix Kazarak up here. Make him a little bit more formidable. You know what? He's not on the same level as. No, he kind of is. Because yeah, there's no real reason to use the types of troops he buffs. All right. So the chaosy other chaos boys. The Dragon Ogres. Kolek Suneater. Kolek, yeah, you've probably seen the videos. Kolek can get some nutty stats. This guy goes mad with power. And it's kind of funny. That said, like, if you don't get him unbreakable, though, like, what are you doing? You need to get him unbreakable somehow, anyhow. It doesn't matter what you do. Get Kolek unbreakable. Otherwise, he will run when he gets surrounded. He's not the perfect one-man doom stack until you get that unbreakable. But still, Warriors of Chaos, pretty much full order. He's got the Shaggoths. It's just still good. He's only gotten better. Archeon. Once again, the Lord of the End Times more or less been fixed. He's got plenty of chaos units. He does make, if you play him, he loves aspiring champions. The fact that there's nothing above an aspiring champion for aspiring champions to evolve into is a crime against all the chaos gods, and CA must be punished accordingly. Let's see. Yeah, we can probably just move a bunch of chaos up to this point too. Let's see. Sigvald. Sigvald is a Slaanesh faction. He's just as good. I don't necessarily enjoy playing Slaanesh quite as much. The micro is just somewhat aggravating, and that basically goes for Nakari and as well. It's okay. They're really powerful. The devastating flanker trait is fun. Like, it's a fun little every once in a while. Azazel, very powerful faction leader. Yeah, you know, he's probably up there. It's just fun. It's just really good. Chaos made out very well. Village. Fuck, I loved playing my Village campaign. Village was amazing. Amazing lord. Champions of Chaos, just probably, without a doubt, my fave. Volkia. We played a little bit of Volkia on stream. She was fun. Korn is a bit boring. She's a little more interesting than the default Korn factions. But like, Korn is a solid, if somewhat boring, just pick overall. You know you're gonna win. You get juggernauts, you get some soul grinders. Yeah, you're set. Festus. Festus was, I think I had more fun playing a short Festus than I did Volkia. It's probably because I think the Festus start, yes, there are less Dark Fortresses around. Yeah, you have Empire all around you, but they're just souls. They are literally just easy souls, and you can rip hard out of the Empire pretty quickly. Nurgle. Kugath specifically. Kugath is, in my opinion, not in a great place as a faction at all. There's the replenishment issue. He just takes too long to get rolling. In my opinion, the Plague Cauldron mechanic is interesting, yes. But a little bit clunky. Just because of the way Plague spreads, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I would kind of like it to be targetable. Or maybe like you have like a meter, right? And it fills up over time. Yeah, no, and then that's when a plague will sweep, and that affects adjacent provinces and adjacent armies, things like that. Maybe some like bigger, honestly, give us something that's like the big one. Yeah, build up towards this massive Nurgle plague that's just ruinous, and then let us select a bunch of regions, right? Like maybe you start off like you can pick one region that you're going to start this big plague in, and it fires off in 10 turns. Yeah, and then that escalates up to, now you can pick 5, 6, 8 different provinces, and all of those go up simultaneously, and then this really dangerous plague shows up, at which you're like 70, 80 turns into the game. Yeah. Like a Doom Engineer. That'd be perfect, actually. Just something that really, because like Nurgle should be insidious, and Kugath should play the long game. That doesn't feel like that right now. It just is frustrating to play. Tzeentch, you are just plain fun. Yeah, a proper cult mechanic would help. Tzeentch is just fun. There's no two ways about it. If you love clicking buttons and watching things die from magic powers, this is your faction. That is basically Tzeentch 101. You throw fire, you got the barriers. Most of the time, the AI has no answer. But yeah, that's that. There we go. So we did this at the start of Warhammer, or the end of Warhammer 2, start of Warhammer 3. And here we are, kind of the counterpoint with where I think various factions are in terms of my personal fun rating, where I think they are mechanically and that sort of thing. And yeah, some of these hurt. But I think we have a lot of reason to be confident that some of these factions, I think, will end up much higher. In the immediate future, Empire will at some point be fixed. Probably after Chaos Dwarves. Dwarves will probably be fixed. Ogres are going to need something, but that'll probably come with a Cathay dual pack of some kind. The Tomb Kings, I don't know. I don't know what you do with the Tomb Kings, to be honest. Maybe something that has to be held off until Nagash and the whole Supreme Lord of the Undead becomes a thing, I guess. Elves overall, both high and dark, are okay. I think there's a few tweaks here and there. Maybe a little something else they can do with influence, possibly. Dark Elf slave mechanic, obviously, in my opinion, needs at least another pass. I know they didn't like the scaling and the snowballing that occurred in the second game with Dark Elves, but I mean, it's there for a reason. Kislev will probably get a few extra units to fix it up, but they need some mechanic changes as well. Just mechanic changes for lizards too. But orcs, goblins, Cathay, yeah, more or less just a few buffs, a few tweaks, a few small mechanical changes or additions would help out a lot of these factions. Wood elves need a lot of help too. I kind of, I don't know. Wood elves I'm a bit unsure of. But Chaos is in an excellent place. Right. Chaos, Vampire counts, Skaven even. I think you can definitely leave those factions as they are. They're going to hold out. Eventually Skaven will get more of their end times units. Eventually.